Hi everyone, thanks for checking out this video. So this is going to be the first video in this new series I'm making on the basics of Python. And basically the reason I decided to make this series was because I decided I want my channel to be kind of self-contained. So I have a lot of other videos that require Python and require some like previous knowledge of Python to do some more of the like intermediate level data analysis and like bioinformatics and computational biology, those kinds of things. But I decided I want my channel to be kind of self-contained so that if anyone comes to my channel wanting to learn about bioinformatics and computational biology, they should have everything they needed to get started. And in order to do that, I decided to make this short series on just the basics of Python. Basically, the goal for this series is just to like kind of cover the very basics, nothing too in depth, but just to have like a basic understanding of Python enough to be able to watch my other videos on the more intermediate level and like understand what's going on in them. Okay, so first things first, let's talk about how to actually download Python. So to download it, just go to python.org/downloads and then click on the download for whatever operating system you're using. I'm using Mac, so I would just click this one here. But if you're using Windows or Linux, just click for whichever operating system you're using and just download it. It should show up in the downloads and then click through the installation. And then once you have it installed, basically when you install Python, it should come automatically with this application called idle. That's IDLE. And if you can't find it, you might have to search for it on your computer. So you might have to go up into like, if you're using a Mac, like go up to the search bar and actually type in idle, IDLE, and then hopefully you should be able to find it. Yeah, this comes automatically when you install Python. So yeah, we're just going to open that up. Yeah, so this is like a nice little application that comes with Python that's like really good for beginners to get started actually writing and running Python code. Usually when you see people doing a little bit more intermediate or advanced programming, usually they're not using this application. Usually they're using something like VS Code, which I also have on my computer. That allows you to have a little bit more of like a customized, configured programming environment. But yeah, I think for beginners, that's not really ideal. For beginners, the quickest way to start learning is with this application idle because yeah, it just comes with Python. It doesn't require any additional installation, doesn't require any like setup or configuration or anything. It just comes automatically with Python and it basically lets us get started right away with like writing and running Python code. Okay, so before we actually write any code, let's first just talk about like what even is computer programming. What even is a program and a programming language? So I think the best way to think about it is that a computer program is basically a set of instructions that instructs the computer in a way that it will hopefully do something useful for you, like solve a problem or something like that. But yeah, we can think of it like a set of instructions for the computer to execute. And a programming language like Python is basically just the language that we use to give instructions to the computer for what we want it to do. So yeah, we can think of it like that, like programming language, basically a way of like writing instructions for the computer. Okay. And this thing here, this window here is what's called the shell or the console or the command line. And basically this is a window where we can type in commands one at a time and press enter, and then Python will execute those commands. So just to show you guys what I'm talking about, like really the most basic use case for Python and like most other programming languages is to do like actual mathematical calculations as if you're like literally using it as a calculator. So we can do like 2 plus 2 and then press enter, and then Python will execute this calculation and tell us the answer is 4. We can also do subtraction. So maybe like 6 minus 5 and we get 1. We can do multiplication, so 2 times 3, and this star sign here is what we use for multiplication. So yeah, 2 times 3. We can do divisions, maybe 10 divided by 5. And this / is how we do division. And by the way, with these commands, we can space them out if we want to, or have no spaces, and it'll be the same either way. So we can do division. We can also do some more complicated math operations like exponents, for example. So like 3 to the second power, 3 squared. So the way we do exponents, as you can see, it's not with this symbol. It's actually with 2 of the multiplication symbols. So 2 of these star symbols, that's how we do exponents. So this is 3 to the second power, or 3 squared. Again, we can space it out if we want to. So yeah, just to remind you guys, yeah, this is the shell, also called the console or the command line. And yeah, we can just type Python commands directly in here and press enter and then execute them. But usually when we're programming, we're not going to be like typing commands one by one like this. Usually we're going to be writing an actual Python program, or also called like a Python script or a Python file. So the way we make one of those is we go up here to File and then New File. And if we click that, it gives us another window that looks like this. And it looks similar to our shell window, except in this new window, it's a little bit different because this is going to be an actual Python file where we can write several commands, and each command will be on its own line in the file. And we can have like several commands in there. And when we eventually run the program, Python will go through and execute each command one by one, line by line, basically. Okay, so let's try writing our first actual Python program here. So there's kind of like an inside joke with computer programmers where they like to make their first program say hello world, kind of like a tradition, I guess. So I'm going to show you guys how to write the program for this, and then we're going to run it, and then after we run it, I'm going to explain to you guys kind of what it's doing. So we're going to say print, open parentheses, quotation mark, hello world, end quotation mark, end parentheses, and then yeah, it's going to say print hello world like that. And then to actually run this, we're going to go up to run and then run module. And if we click that, it's going to tell us that the file has to be saved to run. So just click OK, and then you guys can save it wherever you want. I'm going to save it on my desktop, and then I'm going to call it learning python.py, and this .py here is the suffix for Python files. So you guys can basically call it whatever you want as long as it ends in .py, because that's how we know it's a like Python program. So yeah, I'm gonna click save, and then it's gonna run. And then when this program runs, it displays hello world like this to the console. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about what's going on with this hello world program here. So this print is what's called a function, and functions in Python have some kind of function name. Like in this case, it's print and then parentheses. And then sometimes they have something inside of the parentheses that's called an input. So in this case, the input is just something in quotation marks, in this case, hello world. And then the function does something with the input. So in this case, it displays the input to the console. And sometimes functions also don't have any input, so you could just see a function just with the parentheses and nothing inside of them. It could have no inputs too. In fact, the print function also can have no inputs. If you just run it like this with nothing inside, it'll just print a blank line. But okay, so yeah, that's an example of a function in Python. And the print function is basically used to display things to the console. So I know usually when we talk about printing, when we talk about printing, not in the context of computer programming, usually we mean like printing something out on a physical piece of paper. But when it comes to computer programming, when we say print, what we mean is display something to the user in the console like this. So when we say print, we mean display in the console. And yeah, just to show you guys, it's like I said, we can have more than one command in here. So we can say print hello world, print a blank line, can print just my name, Mike. We can print things instead of using double quotes, we can use single quotes too. So maybe I'll print like single quote test, and then just try running that just to show you guys. And yeah, basically it goes through, when we have more than one command like this, Python just goes through line by line and executes each command line by line, basically. And any blank lines in the middle like this just basically get ignored. So we can have as many like blank lines in the middle as we want to. We can have them spaced out like this, or we can have them all like close together. And either one's okay. We can run it like this if we want to. It'll still be the same in terms of the output. So yeah, these are all just like, each one of these is just displaying something to the console. So yeah, basically we can display things that are in between quotes like this, either double quotes or single quotes. And these are basically just treated like text. We can also, so like I was saying, we can do in Python these like math calculations. But if we just have a math calculation inside of our program, if we just run it like this, Python will still do the 2 plus 2, but it won't actually display anything to the console because we didn't tell it to. So if we just have 2 plus 2, it'll do the 2 plus 2, but it won't actually tell us what the answer is because we didn't tell it to display anything to the console. So if we want to actually see the answer here, we have to print out the result of this operation. So if we run it like this, then it'll actually print out 4 like that. But yeah, we can print out the results of these like math operations if we want to, or even just like single numbers. Yeah, we can print these out. Okay, so one more thing to show you guys for this video before we wrap it up. So I told you guys that when we have a Python program like this, basically Python goes through line by line and executes each one of the lines as a Python command, unless it's a blank line. And the blank lines just get ignored. There's one other kind of line that gets ignored, and that's what we call a comment. So a comment is a line that starts with the number sign or the pound sign. So if we start a line with this number sign, then we can write whatever we want to, like this is a comment, and then if we run it, it'll just be ignored by Python. So yeah, we have this line now. This is a comment, but since the line starts with this number sign, this line just gets ignored by Python. So this is what's called commenting our code, and it's actually considered like a good practice to put in these comment lines to kind of explain what your code is doing, because that'll make it easier if someone else is trying to read your code and understand it. So just to show you guys like an example of that, maybe we can leave a comment saying like, this is a print statement, for example. And yeah, that just kind of lets the user know, or I mean, sorry, not the user, but like lets anyone like looking at our code know kind of what we're trying to do with this code here. Saying like this is a print statement. Yeah, so these are comments. They're just ignored by Python. Lines with commands are executed as commands one by one, and blank lines like this are just skipped over. And yeah, that's a little bit of our first couple Python programs. That's basically all I have for you guys for this video. But in the next video, we'll start learning a little bit more functionality and start to do a little bit more with Python and kind of see what we can do with it. Okay, that's all I have for you guys for today. So thanks for watching, and see you guys next time.